Life often appears overwhelmingly busy. We're taught to chase after countless things, to build an impressive career, to maintain a happy family, to be good parents, to respect our elders, and raise our children well. We're expected to take care of our health, accumulate wealth, and on top of that, manage a good relationship with our partner. As we grow older, we collect more roles and titles. We spin through them like a top, constantly shifting from one to another, or perhaps more accurately, like a hamster running tirelessly on a wheel, whether we're willing or not. I too have done my best to play every role life handed me, but more often than not, I felt completely drained until one day a realization hit me with stunning clarity. Life doesn't actually have to be this hard. There is only one thing we truly need to do: cultivate our inner energy. When our inner energy becomes stable, powerful, and expansive, everything in the external world, money, health, marriage, parenting, begin to realign itself and resolve almost effortlessly. So what exactly is inner energy? Inner energy is the combined force of our soul awareness, core emotional state, and life force. To many, it may sound abstract or even esoteric, something unscientific, intangible, maybe even superstitious. But just because you can't see something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You can see someone's physical body, but can you see their thoughts? No. Yet thoughts clearly exist, and they shape everything we do. You can see mountains and rivers, trees and birds, but can you see Earth's magnetic field? Of course not. Still, this invisible force is what governs the natural order of all things: river, flowers, seasonal changes, animal migrations, and more. According to dark matter theory, over 95% of the universe is made of matter we cannot see. What we can observe, the visible 5%, is only a tiny sliver of existence. And within that, the portion human science can actually explain may be less than 0.1%. In that same way, our inner energy is the invisible system that governs our life, shaping how we feel, act, and relate. Though we cannot touch it, we can feel it anytime, anywhere. Just close your eyes, sit still, and breathe deeply. You will notice a subtle current of energy flowing through your body in this very moment. And we sense other people's energy too. Think of a time during a work meeting when someone walked into the room and instantly changed the atmosphere without saying a word. Their presence alone drew everyone's attention. Every expression, every word they spoke radiated something powerful, even magnetic. Then there are people whose energy feels like a black hole, pulling everything in, draining those around them. It takes less than 5 minutes of a conversation to feel exhausted as your life force has been siphoned off. They don't even need to say much, you just feel it. In my view, inner energy belongs to a different dimension. To me, inner energy exists in a dimension beyond the material realm. Whenever we try to describe something from that dimension using the language of the physical world, we inevitably run into the limits of human vocabulary. No matter how masterful you are with words, even if you are a linguist, you can't escape this constraint. Most of us grown up within a materialist worldview. From childhood through adulthood, we were taught in school that science is supreme and everything else is superstition. I'm a millennial, and in our generation, dreaming of becoming a scientist was considered the noblest ambition. I was always someone who followed the system. That's how I ended up attending one of China's top universities, Renmin University of China, for my bachelor degree, and later earned my master's at the University of Southern California, one of the most prestigious universities in the world. By age 30, I had already become a director at a Fortune 500 company. Later, I left the corporate world and started my own venture. I helped build the US division of a Chinese company from the ground up, and we achieved tremendous success in the American market. I was pregnant, raising a child, navigating COVID, and building a startup all at the same time. Within 4 years, the company grew from zero to a valuation of $50 million. Then one day, I lost everything the material world told me to chase, and it wasn't taken from me. I chose to let it go. That was the biggest failure of my life, and also the most conscious decision I've ever made. I realized that the very thing I had spent my whole life pursuing, external success, wealth, validation, were draining my inner energy. I was constantly trying to win, trying to be what others expected of of me until I became a hollow version of myself. So I stopped running. I spent the next 3 years doing one thing, healing my inner energy. That healing began with the death of my ego. When I speak about my life before 36, it truly feels like I'm describing a past life. The face, like a lifetime ago, couldn't feel more fitting. It reminds me of something Carl Jung once said. The first half of your life may be shaped by others, by what they think you should be, but give the second half back to yourself, follow your inner voice. Back then, I willingly let go of everything that had propped up my ego, money, status, career, reputation. It was the hardest decision I've ever made, without question. But from that collapse, my true self was reborn. Now approaching 40, at the first time in my life, I can feel the immense sovereign power of inner energy. And what's even more beautiful is this: that power does not stand in opposition to the material world. On the contrary, it's the source of all abundance, financial wealth, fulfilling relationships, family growth, a healthy body and mind. These are all reflections of your inner energy. When you shift your inner energy, the world around you will shift to match it. It's not a question of if, only when. Language has limits, but energy is always speaking. Words will always fall short when we try to describe something as subtle and multidimensional as energy. Yet, thankfully, many before us have made brilliant efforts to bring the invisible into form, to help us catch glimpses of what lies beneath the surface of being. One such teacher is Dr. David R. Hawkins, a psychiatrist and consciousness researcher best known for developing the map of consciousness, a scale that organizes different states of human consciousness by vibrational frequency. It spans from low-frequency emotional states such as shame, score 20, guilt, score 30, fear, score 100, and desire, 125, to progressively higher states such as courage, neutrality, acceptance, peace, and enlightenment. Personally, I find this map to be incredibly illuminating because it has helped me clearly name and understand the full emotional spectrum I've traveled over the past 10 years. When I left my role as a director at a Fortune 500 company at age 30 to pursue entrepreneurship, I experienced overwhelming fear and uncertainty. It was the first time I stepped out of a seemingly unshakable system, and the shock of that freedom nearly broke me. I found myself deep in anxiety, scarcity, and guilt, eventually falling into the shadow grip of depression. That was my encounter with the lowest end of the energetic scale. But over the years that followed, I also discovered the transformative power of courage, a pivotal turning point on Hawkins' map. It's where true positive energy begins. Time again, I made decisions rooted in courage, and each one rerouted the course of my life toward a stronger, more resilient path. In recent years of inner healing, I felt the rise of more subtle but deeply powerful frequencies, peace, joy, and even fleeting glimpses of transcendent awareness. These high vibrational states are not easy to describe in words, but once you've touched them, you will never forget the sensation. This consciousness map continued to serve as one of my core tools for navigating and understanding my own inner state. I hope it may also help you recognize where you are today, and more importantly, to see that your current state is not fixed. Inner energy is not static. It shifts, it evolves. And no matter where you are on the spectrum, you have the power to raise it. When your inner energy changes, your outer reality cannot help but change with it. The people, situation, and the challenges around you will begin to reorganize, aligning with the frequency you've become. Because the truth is simple, your inner frequency shapes your outer world. The one thing that truly matters, elevating your inner energy. What I deeply believe is this: there's only one thing in life that is truly worth doing, and that is raising your inner energy. You might ask, only one thing? Really? Even if I can sense my inner energy, what about making money, supporting my family, investing wisely to achieve financial freedom, earning respect, building status, making my parents proud, finding a life partner, raising children to continue my legacy, taking care of my body so I can stay healthy? Are all of these things important? Yes, they absolutely are. These are real human challenges, and we each must face them with honesty and courage. But here's the truth: when we operate from a low energy inner state, all of these external life challenges feel like insurmountable mountains. No matter how hard we work, how much we push, or how desperately we try, we're like spinning tops, exhausting ourselves but staying in the same place. It is as if there is an invisible ceiling above us. No matter how hard we climb, we just can't break through. The invisible script, how lack controls our lives. Let's take a deeper look. Every one of those life struggles we mentioned above, such as money, love, success, status, are at their core reactive responses to our external reality. They are primal survival behaviors. When we feel a lack of money, we hustle to earn it. And when we feel a lack of love, we perform to win approval from our schools, our jobs, our social circles. This is not conscious choice. It's the instinctual behavior of an organism trying to survive. And it all stems from one subtle but powerful belief: there's not enough. That belief, not enough, is not always based on reality. Most of the time, it's subjective. It's not that we're lacking, it's that we think we are. And that voice inside our brain keeps insisting you're not enough. That's what we call the ego. The ego, our brilliant survival machine with a fearful core. The ego, the little me, is the voice in your mind that never stops talking. Close your eyes for a moment and you will notice it's constantly generating thoughts, opinions, fears, comparisons, stories. Its goal is very simple: to keep itself alive. Pay attention to this. Your ego doesn't give a F about your physical health. It just cares about its own survival. It doesn't care about your joy, your peace, or expansion. It only cares that you stay alive, stay safe, and keep feeding its illusions. It is terrified of death. That fear is what it turns into such a powerful master of our life energy. It creates mental scripts full of anxiety, fear, and scarcity, convincing you that you must earn more, do more, be more, or else. And when you live in that mental world of fear and not enoughness, your outer material world reflects that same frequency. You may fight harder, run faster, and achieve more, but reality is just a mirror, and a mirror cannot reflect abundance if your energy is rooted in lack. Even on a mountain of gold, you can feel poor. Let's say you succeed. You build a company worth billions, but inside, you are still driven by fear and scarcity. You still feel like you are not enough, not safe, not loved, so you keep trying to earn more, acquire more, prove more, hoping that someday you'll finally feel whole. But here's the truth: you can never fill an inner void with external achievements. It's a bottomless pit. From that perspective, you are just a poor person sitting on a mountain of gold. No matter how much you accumulate, it won't satisfy the ego's endless hunger. And what's worse, the walls you created from a place of lack, sooner or later, it will find a way to leave you. There's a saying: walls created from scarcity is often lost through the very same frequency that created it. The ego is not evil, it's just doing its job, keeping it alive. But when we allow it to dominate our energy, it becomes a master that keeps us locked in survival mode, always chasing, always fearing, never resting. Ego, scarcity, and the inverted world. During the phase of life where we are dominated by the ego, it is unlikely that our experience of life will be abundant. It doesn't matter whether you are born into great wealth, whether you possess a striking beauty and perfect health, or whether you've worked your way up to becoming a billionaire. In every case, there will always to be one aspect of your life that you subjectively perceive as not enough. Maybe it's a lack of family love, maybe it's a lack of romantic love, maybe it's a lack of health or a lack of money. Whatever it is, there's always one want that feels like it was tailor-made just for you. And that want becomes the life source that feeds and strengthens your ego. Just like sugar and processed food feed the growth of cancer cells. Why can I tell you with such certainty that the sensation of not enough is merely a false world created by your ego? Because all it takes is for you to close your eyes and do a simple 1-minute gratitude practice. And in that moment, the false script written by the ego begins to unravel. You begin to sense true abundance. When you close your eyes and sincerely give thanks for all that you already have, including every cell in your body, every fiber of your muscles, every piece of bone, every strand of DNA, even just for the action of closing your eyes to feel, it's that simple. You will begin to feel the miracle of existence itself. And beyond the miracle of our physical body, every grain of rice we eat, every noodle, every crumb of bread, every piece of fabric we wear, every object we use, all of these are the creations of human intelligence in collaboration with nature. They remind us our very existence is the source of all creation. So then, what exactly is not enough? What is it that's truly missing? What is so lacking that we must tirelessly chase it in pain and desperation? When we begin to experience true abundance, the ego no longer holds the seat of power. It still exists, but it loses its grip on the thorn. In that space, the life force that comes from our inner energy begins to unfold. As our inner energy continues to rise, we naturally begin to experience more states of peace, joy, abundance, and even enlightenment. And we begin to express those states in the simplest of actions, such as eating, sleeping, talking, working, exercising. Every moment becomes a mirror of our inner radiance. And just like the sun does not have to chase after the planets to orbit around it, its gravitational field, powered by its sheer energy, does that effortlessly. You too will begin to attract people, situations, and experiences that match the strengths of your inner frequency. As your inner energy continues to rise, you will notice the people around you begin to change. Those who operate at lower energy frequencies may choose to leave your life, not because of conflict, but because your light has become too bright for their comfort. Your vibrational difference now places you on an entirely different planet. Even if you are physically face to face, you no longer live in the same world. You will also find yourself waking up each day with passion to create, to do what you love, not out of obligation, not because you are trying to meet someone's expectations. And for the first time, you won't feel guilty for disappointing others, because now your inner energy has brought you into a state of sufficiency and wholeness. You no longer need someone else's love to fill your inner void. You become a self-sustaining source of light. Your activated inner energy becomes a radiant field of love, not only nourishing your ability to love yourself, but also overflowing into the people and situations around you. And in this state, your powerful inner energy begins to manifest a mature world that matches its abundance, because every external condition is just a mirror of your internal state. Like the moon reflected in the water, it's only an image of the real moon above. The inner and the outer are one. They are the same, and it is your inner energy that determines your outer reality. But the world has it completely backwards. We believe that the moon reflected in the water, the external world, is the real thing. So we keep trying to chase it, polish it, fix it. Meanwhile, we ignore the real moon in the sky, our inner energy, assuming it is imaginary, even unimportant. This inverted pursuit is the root of all suffering, poverty, and disease. Everything in this universe is, at all times, a flow of energy. Nothing is static. This includes money, the physical body, houses, cars, careers, marriages, parent-child relationships, reputation, social status, and power. All of them are simply different expressions of energy in motion. Money, an energetic symbol embedded in collective belief. At first glance, money appears to be something tangible, paper bills in your wallet, bars of gold, or balances in your bank account. But in reality, these forms are nothing more than constructs created by human imagination to make the concept of money easier to grasp. Money, at its core, is not a physical object. It is a flowing, intangible form of energy, something we cannot touch or see directly, yet we all interact with it constantly. What gives money its power is not the material it is made of, but the collective belief behind it. Money holds value because we, as a society, agree that it does. When trust in the currency disappears, what once functioned as money becomes nothing more than a stack of worthless paper. Take gold, for example. For centuries, it has served as a trusted anchor for currency, not because it holds some inherent mystical value, but because it is scarce, difficult to counterfeit, easy to transport, and resistant to decay. Yet even gold's value ultimately depends on human consensus. If we ever develop the ability to manufacture gold infinitely, its role as a monetary standard would collapse overnight. So what does this tell us? It tells us that the value of money does not come from its physical form, but from the energy we project onto it, the energy of our belief. In this sense, money is a carrier of trust, or more precisely, a carrier of faith. And faith happens to be one of the highest vibrational frequencies of our inner energy that human beings are capable of holding. Therefore, money is not simply a tool for exchange or a means to survive. It is a mirror that reflects the energy of collective belief shaped by what we as individual and as society choose to invest our trust in. The body, a slowly moving but constantly renewing biological energy system. You might ask, how can the physical body, so heavy, solid, and tangible, be a form of flowing energy? It seems counterintuitive. Yet, modern biology and physics have already confirmed that our bodies are in fact dynamically renewing energy systems. The human body is energy in motion, not static, but simply moving at a a pace too slow for the naked eye to perceive. Take our bones, for example. Though they appear solid and unchanging, they're constantly undergoing a process of old bone absorption and new bone formation, a biological cycle known as a bone remodeling. During this process, calcium and other minerals are continuously deposited and withdrawn to maintain strength and structural integrity. So, even though bones appear stable, they are silently in a state of constant transformation. If a bone breaks, it won't heal as quickly as a surface would, but over the course of 3 months or longer, it regenerates. The fact that it heals at all proves that it is not a static object, but a living system of energetic flow. In fact, the skeletal system in an adult human body is entirely replaced approximately every 10 years. The same principle applies to our cells. Every moment, billions of cells in our body are dying and being regenerated. Red blood cells renew roughly every 120 days, intestinal cells every few days, and skin cells complete a full turnover about every 28 days. On an even more microscopic level, all of our cells are made up of molecules, which are composed of atoms. Atoms, in turn, are made of protons, neutrons, and electrons. According to modern physics, over 99% of an atom's volume is empty space, and the subatomic particles that remain exhibit wave-particle duality, which means they're always in motion. From this perspective, we can reasonably say that the body, although appearing still, is actually a slowly moving, continuously evolving energy system. It may seem solid, but it is made up of vibrating fields of energy and space. What we experience as physical form is, in reality, a temporarily organized expression of energy flow. Houses, material energy structures with low-frequency vibration. A house may appear solid and immovable, but its physical components, steel, concrete, bricks, wood, are ultimately just a structure made of atoms. The subatomic particles within those atoms are in constant vibration and motion. The reason we don't perceive these movements is because these materials are relatively stable and their structural transformations happen over much longer timescales. But their stability is not absolute. It is relative. Natural disasters like wildfires, earthquakes, and tsunami can destroy this seemingly permanent structure in an instant. Events like this remind us that what we call solid or stable is only a temporary arrangement of energy. Matter, no matter how strong it seems, is simply energy held in a particular form for a particular time. In that sense, a house is not a fixed object, but a low-frequency, slow-changing energetic structure. Its apparent solidity is merely a reflection of its vibrational pace, not the absence of change. Modern physics confirms matter is a condensed form of energy. One of the most groundbreaking discoveries in modern physics is this. What we perceive as matter is just energy condensed into a specific form. This understanding stems from Einstein's theory of special relativity, and in particular, his famous mass-energy equivalent equation, E equals mc squared. This formula reveals a revolutionary truth. Mass and energy are interchangeable. In this equation, E represents energy, m is mass, and c is the speed of light, approximately 300 millimeters per second. Because c is such a massive constant, even the smallest amount of mass can be converted into an enormous amount of energy. This is why, during nuclear fusion, the loss of just a tiny bit of mass can unleash catastrophic energy. The same principle behind both atomic bombs and the radiant energy of the sun. Even more astonishing is the reverse implication of the equation. If enough energy is concentrated into a small enough space, it can create particles with mass. This is not just a theory. It has been confirmed through the high-energy physics experiments. At CERN's Large Hadron Collider, for example, scientists accelerate protons to near-light speed and smash them together. These collisions created an extremely dense concentration of energy in a fraction of a second. Under such extreme conditions, that energy can condense into entirely new particles, including the Higgs boson, discovered in 2012, which had never existed in observable form before being generated in this way. All of this proves that what we think of as stable matter is actually just another expression of energy. Just as steam condenses into water droplets under the right conditions, high-density energy can condense into particles that carry mass. Energy can be released from matter, as seen in nuclear reactions, but matter matter can also be born from energy. In other words, our world is not made of isolated, static things, but of dynamic energy fields, vibrating at different frequencies and organized in varying structures. What we perceive as solid objects are simply limited sensory interpretations of how energy takes form. This is not just a metaphysical idea, it is a fact affirmed by modern physics. Career, relationships, reputation, status, and power, the social manifestations of energy. When it comes to things like career, parent-child relationships, reputation, status, and power, it is actually easier to understand them as forms of flowing energy. These are not tangible objects you can hold in your hands. They exist as vibrational frequencies within our consciousness, constructed by the mind and ultimately manifestations of our internal energy projected outward into the world. Take career, for example. It begins as an intention, then transforms into action, and eventually generates feedback from the external world. In essence, it is a visible outcome of your continuously expressed life energy. Parent-child relationships function as energetic bonds that often transcend language, geography, and even time. They are deeply rooted in emotional and energetic connection. As for reputation, status, and power, these are social constructs that exist only through the perceptions, emotions, and reactions of others. In truth, they are not static realities, but collective energetic fields shaped by human thought and attention. All of these non-matter phenomena are governed by shifting flows of energy within the collective consciousness. They may feel real because of their impact, but they are not fixed. They emerge, grow, and dissolve as energy moves, aligns, or fractures within the invisible networks of human interactions. From this perspective, the world we move through socially is not built from social objects, but from ever-changing energetic patterns sculpted by the interplay between our inner state and the shared consciousness around us. By this point, you should begin to see the true nature of external world. Everything experienced outside of yourself is energy, flowing, moving, shifting at varying speed and frequencies. And your inner energy is a source that governs the energy of your outer material world. When you are in a state of inner anxiety or fear, your physical body tightens, your system falls out of balance, and over time, illness inevitably emerges. When your inner energy is rooted in scarcity, even something as inherently high vibrational as money will move away from you because your low energy cannot resonate with it. When you are stuck in low frequency emotional states such as guilt, shame, or self-doubt, your body begins to express these patterns through posture, voice expression, and as a result, high energy opportunities will pass you by. Worse yet, when your inner energy is depleted, your partner and children not only receive no energetic nourishment from you, they may also become your energetic source, drained daily by your unconscious need. You might spend years studying communication, relationship tools, or parenting strategies, but if your inner energy remains wounded, all your efforts will be in vain because you are treating the symptoms without addressing the cause. It's like trying to heal heart disease by applying cream for a skin rash. This is why the root solution to every external problem lies in our inner energy. When we heal and elevate our inner energy, it naturally begins to restructure our outer world into one of abundance, connection, and fulfillment, which brings us back to the one and only thing that truly matters in life, elevating our inner energy. Now, how exactly do we heal and elevate our inner energy? And more importantly, how do we stay consistently in a high energy state? There are many methods and many types of practice. I will share more about these in future sessions, but all effective methods, no matter how diverse, share one foundational principle. You must learn to identify the people, environments, activities, and thoughts that either raise or drain your inner energy. This may sound simple, but in practice, it is the hardest and most essential step. And if you're listening to this and thinking, I know my energy matters, but honestly don't even know where it's leaking from, you're not alone. That's why I created a short inner energy leak finder quiz, a 3-minute reflection that helps you see which area of your life is currently draining your inner energy the most. Maybe your work, your relationships, your habits, or your own inner dialogue. It's not here to judge you or give you a score. It's simply a mirror, so you can see your current pattern more clearly. If you'd like to try it after this video, you'll find the link in the description below. Once you can see clearly, the next step is to intentionally remove or distance yourself from the people, work models, and external conditions that consistently drain your inner energy. You must create an energetic boundary a clear container for your inner vitality to accumulate. Without it, you're like a leaking reservoir that never fills. At the same time, you must intentionally reorient your time, attention, and actions toward people, projects, and practice that expand your inner energy. The more you do this, the more powerful you become. You will gradually evolve into a high-energy individual capable of connecting to higher frequencies of wisdom from the universe. That connection brings you an unshakable sense of clarity about your life's direction, your values, your decisions, and that clarity itself becomes a new source of inner power. Eventually, this transformation will ripple outward. Your relationships, your career, your family, your financial reality, all will begin to reorganize themselves around your new inner frequency. You will build a version of life that your former low-energy self could never have even imagined. If you begin right now to focus on the consistent elevation of your inner energy, you will experience a life beyond anything you thought possible. This is the first principle of a high-energy life. Inner energy creates outer abundance. I hope this message serves you.